Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life.
The land of the free and the home of the brave, of the brave, of the brave. Now this is that fly shit, the do or die shit, make shit, platinum shit, that make you so sick. Flavor Flav time.
How about that? That was Flavor Flav singing the national anthem last night at the Bucks game. So I was thinking it's like Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock, probably number one. Renee Roncourt, Game 6 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals, number 2, and then that has to be number 3, right?
Oh, Whitney Houston, the Super Bowl.
Maybe her.
Don't forget that one. Oh, that's definitely that's right up there with what's her name? Roseanne Barr did one at the San Diego.
Well,
Padres.
it's like Fergie did one, but he actually put like his heart and soul in it. He was giving it all. It wasn't. The more you listen to it, it gets less bad. It's so funny. He tried. He really gave it his all.
I'll give him credit. Let's try. So again, bring us in. It all boils down to this episode 11 of this season 1. Jack has brought us in with Flavor Flav, Public Enemy, Fight the Power, all that fun stuff. So Fight the Power, Jack. What do we got going today?
Well, he did sing it for the Bucks game, so let's start with that. Damian Lillard had a good night last night. What did he score, like 4 points? He was firing up bricks.
I love being right about Damian
Lillard.
Well,
he's gonna be hot and cold. That's what he's gonna do. That's Damian Lillard for you. And I don't know. I don't know about that Bucks team. Everyone's so high on Stephen A. Saw him play one game, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think the Celtics are winning it anymore. I'm thinking the Bucks." So you know what? We'll see. We'll see what happens with that team. It is funny because he is like the closer. He gets the ball. He takes the last shot. Now he plays with the best player in the world, maybe.
Yeah, like I said, I really, really am curious how they work together because of the way he has to have the ball in his hands at the end of the game, and you got Giannis. I mean, if you have one of the top 2 players in the world and you have a top 20 player, and you want Giannis to have the ball at the end. But we'll see what happens. A long season.
But Giannis isn't going to make perimeter shots like Damian. Like in that first game, Lillard hit that big 3. I mean, that's like a step back 3. Giannis isn't doing that. Lillard's more of a like closer type of player. Giannis obviously is your best player and all that. So whatever. Just pick and roll actions with them at the end of the game is going to be tough to stop.
That's true, but same with Celtics.
Yeah, how about them Celtics? 2-0, 2 really good wins against 2 good teams. They played poorly at times in those games, but I mean, the first 2 games it was Tatum. The first game against the Knicks, it was Tatum and Porzingis, and then the second game it was Jalen and Derek White, and then throughout it all, Drew Holiday's playing great defense and putting in good contributions. So they're the team to beat. They played tonight. I just want to win 60 games, and I want to win a title, obviously.
And for them, the sky's the limit. Only issue I have with them is eventually they got to get another big guy, I think. And I think perimeter-wise, you got to get – if Hauser and Pritchard are going to play, they got to score. And the games I've watched, they haven't scored. But you're absolutely right about that. The Brown-White combination, the Porzingis-Tatum combination, you're going to get that every night. Whereas I think with our friends from the Bucks, it's going to be Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. But who knows? Are they going to get any run out of Middleton?
Yeah, Middleton, Lopez, all those guys, Portis, and yeah, they have some good. I don't think their top 4 is not as good as yours, but they might have more. I actually don't know. Did they have more players than you? It really doesn't matter. I'll still take. Look, the Celtics top 6. As long as Porzingis stays healthy, they're going to win. They're going to win.
And the Celtics have to hit their threes. Agree or not?
Yeah, they do, but I think they've been outshot from 3 the first 2 games this year, and last year that was a recipe for disaster. They've been outshot from 3, I think, both times this year.
Yeah.
And they won both the games, so they're finding other ways to win now.
Right. And did you see the highlight of Curry playing on
Dylan Brooks?
Dylan Brooks, and that was awesome.
I don't know how he got 80. Is he? Someone needs to like an NBA. Is he really that like $80 million worth of a player? I thought he got benched in the playoffs last year.
It's not up to me to pay them. We just
Yeah, but $80 million, 4 years, $80 million, and then Grant Williams, who I think is actually a pretty decent player, got 4 years, like $53 million. I'd rather have Grant Williams on my team than Dylan Brooks. Maybe I'm wrong.
And Grant had a great opening day too for the.
Yeah, he's gonna be a good player for them. He fits that team pretty good.
As long as Kyrie don't show up.
Yeah, well, at some point, Kyrie will blow that whole operation up. And then one more, Wembanyama. He's been. I don't want to say it, but he's been Dow Jonesing. First game he sucked. The second game he was great.
We're going to call our show It All Boils Down to This Dow Jones edition next time. You're right. That's what's going to happen. A young player. Come on. You know it. He's young. He's long. He's lean. But he's going to go up and down. He's also going to probably run out of gas about 60 games into the season.
That's a good point. Yeah, because like what did they play in France? Did he ever play like an 82-game season? And is the Dow Jones, is that really that volatile of a stock? The Dow. I feel like it's...
Well, first of all, Dow Jones is not a stock. It's a stock index.
Yes,
and it's only volatile because it does go up and down every day.
I know, but we could have a better
down.
Well,
they could have a pogo stick or something.
GameStop.
But, yeah. No. All right, GameStop. Perfect. All right, so that's the NBA. We'll get back to the NBA later on because we did get some fan email on the greatest player not to win.
Let's do that now. Let's do that now.
Okay, so...
Yeah, do you have it? Pull it up.
I don't have the email, but I have what he said. Brian Kane.
Is he still coaching?
He's still coaching. Brian Kane, who is a legend in Wilmington Little League coaching. I think he's coached the Orioles for about 30 years, almost more than half his life. He's an awesome guy, knows his baseball, knows his sports. I know he listens to us out there. He sent me an email and complimented Jack on the skill that Jack has. And he also said, because we threw the question out there to everybody, who are the greatest players not to win an NBA championship? And he came back with a little bit of a list for me. And just to recap, basically he had Allen Iverson, Elgin Baylor, Karl Malone, Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, and John Stockton. So those are great guys that never won, Hall of Famers.
All those guys did play in the finals though, did they?
I'm not sure.
Iverson did. Did Baylor? Baylor must. Yeah, Baylor because they lost to the Celtics all the time.
Did. Let's see. Looking down the list, Karl Malone did. Reggie Miller did. Barkley, Stockton.
Reggie Miller did? Did they play against the Elijah Warners?
Oh, maybe Reggie Miller didn't.
Or did they?
No, they lost to the Knicks.
There's the one they have the 30 for 30. There's the 30 for 30 where they beat. Remember they beat the Knicks when he's going like that to Spike Lee.
They didn't lose
but I think that was the conference semifinals.
Yeah, I think it was too.
What's his name? Ewing missed the layup, the little finger roll.
And then other players that I found, like I said, Ewing. George Gervin, Pete Maravich, Steve Nash, which I really didn't realize never did win.
He almost won as a coach. What's his name? Yes. Kyrie or Harden? I think it was Harden got hurt. If Harden, he would have won as a coach.
Then really deep, Dikembe Mutombo, Bob Lanier, Vince Carter, Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, Dave Bing was another one I found. And then my favorite one of all time right now is James Harden, who has never won anything either. So a really good shout out.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum hasn't got.
Well, what's his name would have had a Jokic actually would have 2-time MVP if he didn't win that. He'd have a good shout at that.
That's true. So big thanks to Mr. Brian Kane, the superstar Little League coach.
One more thing about it, he's a Yankee fan, right?
Oh,
we'll have to get some Yankee takes about it. What does he want? What does he want to see this offseason? How does he think about the manager, the general manager? If he's sick of them, all that.
Okay, so Brian, that's the challenge now from Jack. Brian, why don't you bring us into the Yankee thought process this winter, and we maybe have a baseball show. Maybe we'll get you on the air with us as well. So thanks to Brian Kane for emailing us that, and we put the challenge out, and he accepted the challenge, and he accepted the challenge really well. Next, Jack, let's go to World Series 1-1 as of tonight. Should be 2-0 Arizona, but who knows?
Yeah, no, big hit by Corey Seager. Adolis Garcia is destroying, making a name for himself this postseason. Everybody's going to know who he is now, so that's really good. I do remember when we were getting our fantasy baseball draft ready, we were draft prepping, Adolis Garcia was ranked like 80th, and you're like, Adolis Garcia ranked 80th? Nobody's saying that now. Nobody. Everyone knows
And the irony is he ended up on my team anyway.
He's a really good player.
Yeah. And
Electric.
Absolutely right. And they finished, Globe Life Park, what was your take?
I think it's like
antiseptic.
It looks like I used to play this game on my phone. It was it Eden? You'd build stuff, and it's like it looks like one of the stadiums you just build, like in like Minecraft or something, whatever that game is. So it looks fit. I just hate the stadium.
To me, it comes across because I was watching. Now that you mentioned, now I'm really analyzing. It comes across as like when they play the NCAA championship in the Superdome.
Yeah, it's
what
too
it looks
big.
like. It's like this massive structure, and they got this little ball field in it, and plus they have a short right field porch. But I've been looking. Now they moved to Arizona, which I'm heading to Arizona on Wednesday night. I'll see Arizona UCLA football and Arizona Morgan State for basketball. So I'm going out there with my brother. So I'll come back with a report.
Is that
on
a real game? No, they're not opening yet.
Yeah.
Morgan State?
Morgan State's.
What are you talking about?
Morgan
What
State's.
day is it?
It's Monday.
That's like early November. There's no way college basketball's happening.
Yeah,
That's got to be a
November
scrimmage.
6th. They can start November 6th.
Really?
November 6th. Yeah.
Is that early?
Yeah.
Arizona's gonna be good, huh?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
They got the kid from
Transferred.
UNC, Love, right?
Love.
Yeah.
Not
Where
Love,
we were talking about
Love.
Yeah, Love.
Yeah.
Caleb.
Yeah, his brother's the quarterback. No.
What?
Nah, is it Love?
No, Drake May's brother is Luke May, who used to play for UNC. He had a big shot in the tournament. No, I'm pretty sure it's Caleb Love.
I think you might be right. We'll check that later.
Caleb Love. That sounds like an NFL
I
quarterback.
thought Luke May went out there.
No, it's Caleb Love.
I thought Luke May.
It's
I'm
Caleb
going to have
Love.
to look that up as we talk here. So send it on over to you. That's World Series.
Well, I'm not. We didn't really even talk about the World Series. So it's
go.
1-1. Who do you have? I mean, you're obviously going to ride with the Rangers. I just think, I don't know. The Diamondbacks look like they're not going to lose right now. I know they choked. I know maybe their bullpen isn't perfect, but neither is Texas's. Again, they got. I'm assuming the Fad guy's going tonight. Fad, what's his name?
Fad.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Fad. Right.
He's pitching against. Is it Scherzer or Montgomery? So we'll see. This is a pivotal game, and I'm going with the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks in 7.
I stick with my good friends from the Texas Rangers. I still got to believe you got Scherzer going Game 3. They got a great outing, no doubt about it. Merrill Kelly pitched great. It's such a weird series. You never know. You could Jekyll and Hyde. If you talk about a Dow Jones team, the Dow Jones team is definitely Texas. You never know what you can get with them. But that top 4 of their lineup is pretty good. Whoever controls the bottom 3 or 4 hitters is going to win the series. And the bullpens are average. But again, it's an 84-win team, the Arizona Diamondbacks. 84-win team.
I'm going to change my thing. So I was just thinking. So Eovaldi pitched Game 1. He's going to pitch Game 5. Right? Maybe he'll pitch Game 4, but he'll pitch Game 5. I think this is going to go. This is setting up for Game 7, Eovaldi and the Bumgarner role, and just like coming out of relief in Game 7 for 3-4 innings, dominating and shutting down the Diamondbacks. And I'm going with the Rangers after thinking about that. Eovaldi Game 7 out of the bullpen. You heard it here first.
Okay, so I'll stick with the Rangers. I still think they can close it in 6, win at home. You don't ever want to go to Game 7 because you never know what's going to happen, but Eovaldi play a big role in it. Montgomery, I still think, they haven't really got a lot out of Marcus Semien this last couple of playoff series, so we'll see what happens with that. So the World Series, again, I got the Rangers. I picked the Rangers way back in the beginning. You laughed at me when they weren't even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, well,
I picked them to
they
win.
went on like a 7-game losing streak after you picked them.
Shout out to the Rangers. That doesn't matter. They still.
No, I'm just saying at the time it was funny.
Just so you know, Caleb Love is right. I was wrong. It is Caleb Love. He's the guard who transferred.
And Drew and Luke May is the kid who hit the shot and went to class the next day.
Correct. Yeah.
Went viral.
And Luke May's brother is the quarterback for UNC. Who's really
Drake,
choking.
Who is still probably gonna be a top 5-10 pick.
Might be, but they're not playing well lately. All right, what's next on the agenda, Jack?
Let's get Kevin going here. So Kevin, I mean, you're gonna hear it. He had another good week. So.
Oh, this is the gambling, Kevin?
Yeah, so here he's got a long call this week. We're not doing a draft, so we have more time to talk about football and college and NFL. So let's get into it.
Jimbo, Jack, what's going on? 10-5 last week. 10-5, and go Vols. The Tennessee Volunteers killing it, beating Kentucky. What a game. I was very stressed out the whole time.
Oops.
It was almost like watching like a big
Got an
Arsenal
alert.
game, considering the walk-off with Chris and all that. But, oh, my God. Dynamic duo in the backfield of Jalen Wright and Dylan Sampson. Joe Milton as a quarterback. QB draw. Oh, man, I love him. But the Kentucky quarterback, I mean, he looked like Bo Nix out there. I mean, he was unbelievable. Like, honestly, put him on the Patriots instead of Mac. Like, he was that good. I think Chris is going to call in, so I just want to address this. He claims I was reverse jinxing the game at the start of the fourth quarter because I was basically just calling it like I saw it. I thought Kentucky's passing game was unstoppable. The Tennessee running game was not there at that moment, and I was just calling it like I saw it. But he thought it was reverse jinxing and bad sportsmanship, the whole 9 yards. So curious to hear what you guys think about that. Look forward to his call too. It'll be interesting, but hopefully it gets him involved in the podcast more. So that's good.
Yeah, so Kevin and Chris, they had their big lock-off this week. It was Tennessee. Kevin had, God, I'm going to get this wrong. I think Kevin at Tennessee was -3.5, it doesn't matter, -3.5, -4. Chris at Kentucky, +3.5, +4. Tennessee got the job done. But again, like we said, he was talking about this reverse jinx argument that him and Chris were having.
Oh, you have it on
And again,
tape?
no, I just have Kevin again. This happens every week.
Every week, Kevin.
At some point in the game, he quits.
Yeah,
At
he
some point,
every single week, Jack. You're absolutely right. Okay, let's hear it. Hopefully,
This is over. This is over because the one team that's going to puke on themselves is Tennessee. This Kentucky
Every time.
QB is like God. He should be a top 10 pick.
like clockwork.
And Tennessee can't move the ball. They're starting to stop the run. This is over.
What happened to the quarterback draw?
I don't know, but and then obviously they play a real good fourth quarter. And they get the win, and Kevin comes right back at, and this probably pissed Chris off. So Kevin comes right back at with this.
Oh God!
I look forward to the debate on the pod, I guess, because I just know in my heart of hearts the game was not looking well for me, and this is all I got to say now. All I got to say.
Oh Jesus!
Oh
my God! He's gone.
Unbelievable.
He's gone.
He's loving his win.
Let's stop him while he's ahead. Good for Kevin. He 10-5. He said, right?
Did he say that? Yeah,
I
it
think
was something good, and it was after going like 8-4. No, did he go 8-4 or 8-8 last week? He's actually been doing real good. So eventually we're gonna get a horrible week from him.
Yeah, and
it's gonna make us laugh. Here's him talking about more of that 10-5 week.
On to the big games, everything that happened this past weekend. Kansas took down Oklahoma. Not entirely shocked by that, considering their performance against UCF recently. And don't be surprised if Kansas State actually does the same thing to Texas this week, especially with Quinn Ewers out. That'll be an interesting game. I think Kansas State's +5. I'm probably going to pick that. What else? Oh, Oregon demolishing Utah. I called it after they lost to Washington. I said, don't be surprised if Oregon runs the table, wins the Pac-12, and gets into the playoff. And I think that that's still exactly what's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, they're just a really good team offensively and defensively. Georgia, also demolished Florida at the Swamp. Really another statement win from them, very similar to their beatdown on Kentucky. They're playing Missouri next week, which is actually an interesting matchup. I'm a huge Missouri guy. Missouri's only loss, I believe, is to LSU in like a shootout. I think Missouri's going to cover +16.5. I think that's way too big of a line. Georgia will probably win, but Missouri's a really good football team. USC and Washington both barely escaped bad losses this week. They're two really confusing teams at the moment, and they're going to play each other next week. And I'm not even touching that game, not betting it. It's at USC too, which makes it even more confusing. If it was at Washington, I probably would pick Washington, but I don't know. That's just going to be a crazy game. Wanted to talk about quickly my boys, Tez Walker and Drake May at UNC. After they got my lock, they have sucked.
We just talked about
They just lost to Virginia and Georgia Tech in back-to-back weeks. I have no idea what's going on with them. I thought they were going to challenge FSU in the ACC, but obviously not anymore.
Yeah, so that last point, challenge FSU. Remember I kept saying all year, FSU, there's a loss there, there's a loss there.
There ain't no
Today
loss.
I say there's no loss there. They're going to win out, and it's going to be a problem because Oregon, like he mentioned there, is a very good football team, and they're going to win out too and be a conference champion with one loss. So and then Alabama's going to cause problems too if they win out and all that. So I don't know. FSU's not losing. They're not.
So are you going back? So I got, we'll go back to his stuff a second. Top 4 right now this week. I just wrote my teams down so I didn't get yelled at because I had like 6 last week. I'm going Georgia, OSU, Michigan, and FSU are my top 4.
Georgia, OSU, Michigan, and FSU.
Yeah, that was my
Georgia,
top
OSU,
4.
Michigan. So I'll go Georgia 1. No, yeah.
I got
Well,
Georgia
Michigan's
1.
on a bye. Michigan had a bye, I think, last week, so I'm not going to drop them. So Michigan 1, Georgia 2, Alabama 3, Oregon 4.
So you got Bama 3, Oregon 4.
Now, obviously, that's not how they're going to be ranked in college football playoff wise. But if you want me to give you the 4 best teams, those are my 4 best teams.
Yeah, and I can't go with taking OSU and Michigan until somebody beats Ohio State. I know they've not looked great, But until somebody actually beats them, which it might not be till they play Michigan, and then then Michigan gets to play Wisconsin or Nebraska or something.
Nebraska.
And so until somebody beats them, it's hard to rank, Oregon over them. Even how can you rank Oregon over Washington when Washington beat Oregon? Honestly, anybody to answer.
Well, because I get that, but I know Oregon's a better football team. It'll sort itself out by the end of the year. They're going to win out. Kevin's right. They're going to win out. They're really good. That team.
The win against Utah to me is classic. That's a great win for them.
They killed them. What was the score here?
I don't know, but it was big. It was a lot to a little. I don't have. Do you have the score?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but whatever.
But again, USC has really, really crapped the bed.
35-6.
USC has really not played well either. So it'll be always interesting to see what happens with USC going down.
You might have just heard my phone ping. It was JTrevs. He just texted me. You planning on calling him? ? I guess we're not going to call Tommy. We were thinking about calling Tommy T to ambush him with some Damian Lillard questions, but I don't know if the technology is ready for that yet.
We're not ready yet. Well, hopefully the technology next.
I know everyone wants to hear Tommy T.
We're going to get Tommy T in the studio. If I knew he was off today, I'd have had him come down.
Yeah,
he could have sat with Jack. The other game he talked about Georgia, Florida. Georgia's legit. I mean, I don't know what you think. They are.
The quarterback's really starting to play good.
And they lost their tight end, and the second tight end comes in. It's like they just keep replacing players with players.
That's the Alabama way right there. You get 4 stars.
I don't doubt you with Alabama. I've told you all year that I thought Alabama would be somewhere in the mix. Kansas, Oklahoma shite the bed 2 weeks in a row. Finally got beat. Oklahoma State. He has Kansas State and Texas. Kansas State's going to get their arses kicked.
Kansas State and Texas. I think Kansas State just came off a big. They beat Houston 41-0. What happened to Houston? Was Houston good last year? Do you remember?
No.
They've been bad for a while now.
Temple almost beat Houston.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I'm not.
Temple's
kidding.
on a bye, correct?
Yeah, they didn't lose the bye. They got Nebraska.
It's a good week for Temple. They
didn't lose, and they get EJ's coming back. And then this week I'll get a good look at the Pac-12. I'll see Arizona, who beat Oregon State. And Oregon State was supposed to be this great team, and Arizona beat them because Oregon State's coach choked at the end of the first half of that game. Instead of kicking a field goal, which he would have won with, he faked field goal to go to a touchdown. So that was the Oregon State. Other than that, I agree with them on Washington, USC. Penn State didn't really play that well.
Yeah, no, but and this is my Ohio State thing with Penn State. Penn State struggled a bit against Indiana. I think they were at home too. My thing with Penn State and how I don't think Ohio State's good is the only difference, I honestly think, because that game was so bad, the Ohio State-Penn State game, the only difference between the two teams is this guy.
Maserati Marv.
Honestly, the receiver, if you gave Penn State Maserati Marv, which is the worst nickname ever, and Gus Johnson sucks.
I
awful.
still have Gus
It's
Johnson.
funny to listen to. But if you gave Penn State Maserati Marv, I think they beat Ohio State, and they're in, we're talking about them as a top 4 team, and they suck. So I think Ohio State gets killed by Michigan.
Oh, we'll see what happens. And as you can tell, we have the new toy here in the podcast.
Yeah, I love
Jack
it.
is loving the
I got
Bluetooth.
more.
He's got audio. We got audio for you.
Well, do you see this game?
Except for JTrevs.
Do you see Clemson lost to North Carolina State?
Oh, my God. Clemson. Let's bring Clemson. Dabo. Dabo's your favorite coach.
Dabo made a comment.
Is Dabo your favorite coach or not?
At least.
Okay.
Well, he's the worst. He's the worst.
He's your Jim Harbaugh then, right?
For me. The way you...
For me, he's
Jim Harbaugh to Jim Boyle is Dabo Sweeney to Jack Boyle. Yes.
There you go. All right. What do you got for me?
About a year ago, he made this comment because all the NIL stuff is coming out, and they're under 500. I saw a stat. They're 5-6. They're 6-7. They're under 500 since he made this comment.
And honestly, for me, we built this program on NIL. We really did, and it's probably different than what you're thinking though. We built this program in God's name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, that would be GNIL, Dabo, not NIL. And Georgia's won back-to-back national championships. They have guys killing people on their team. I don't think God's too interested in college football right now.
They also had the kid that crashed and killed.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
That was the Alabama basketball team that had the shooters.
Was murdering people.
Right. So, Dabo's full of himself. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
But again, Dabo, if you ask the same question to Mr. Harbaugh, he would say the same kind of stupid-ass thing. Because they're both the same people Just one's got a Southern draw, one's got a Midwestern draw. They're
Yeah,
both the same
I don't know.
people.
I
They're
still
both
think
the same people.
They come
both
off in
bring
different
this-
ways. They come off a little bit different.
I understand. So my question,
And maybe
to
you're right. It's that Southern drawl that I can't
Yeah.
stand. But
my
whatever.
question to you is, if they built their name in God's likeness image, so every other like Liberty
Yeah, I
University,
was getting Liberty. What's
Liberty.
the-
What about Liberty? What about TCU?
How about
Texas
BYU?
Christian? What about Baylor?
BYU?
Oh, BYU is another one.
Yeah.
You know what about
Zach
those
Wilson's
teams?
not
Yeah.
playing good.
But I'm just saying, they always throw that out because, again, to me, and I agree with you on
He's
Dabo,
also probably paying players a ton of money in NIL. Like
Yeah, holier
he's
than
using
thou.
NIL.
and he can't coach anymore. Holier than thou stuff doesn't work, and that's why I don't like Harbaugh as well, because there's a lot of crap that he spews out of his mouth that he's the greatest, he's holier than anybody. And that's what, and in the end, I'm going to bring a name from the past from my youth. That's what Joe Paterno really got in trouble with. You know, he always rode the high horse. He was right.
Not the only thing he got in trouble with.
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Sandusky comes along and he buries his head in the sand or whatever he does. And
So
all of
he was a
sudden,
high and
he's
mighty
trying-
guy like that.
Oh yeah, ask Pop.
Yeah,
I'll tell you something. All you got to do, next time you talk to Pop Up, my dad, ask him about his thoughts on Joe Paterno.
He always hated him.
He didn't like. He thought Joe Paterno thought his shit didn't stink, and he didn't like him. Yeah. He wasn't a big fan.
And
He
people-
didn't like Coach Chaney because he yelled at people either. So we'll take that for what it's worth as well.
We do have he's not in the family anymore, but we do have a guy who used to kick at Penn State that knew immediately that he knew that back in like the 80s that Sandusky wasn't doing the right thing.
Shout out to Rob.
He could see it in his
Stab.
eyes. He could see it in his eyes.
couldn't-
He didn't speak up either.
No,
He's
he
just as
would
guilty
never-
as Paterno.
he was-
And then I got two more games. Washington,
go.
Stanford. Washington, they did end up winning by 9 points. It was at Stanford. They struggled a bit. Stanford's not good. UCLA beat Colorado. You're going to see UCLA. Colorado keeps losing. Somebody said they had their first 2 weeks of the season was their like Linsanity run. And they killed.
That's
they,
a great
they,
quote.
They beat TCU, who had just been in the national championship game, and then they killed Nebraska. And that quarterback played like an idiot.
And Nebraska's now over 500, right?
Yeah, and so the West, I don't know if I already said this. The Big Ten West runs through Lincoln.
Yeah,
They
you-
control
that's
their own
first-
destiny, but there's like 3 teams that do. They'll have to beat Wisconsin, which would be a tough game. for them
Right.
to win.
Now back to the Colorado team. They were never going to be any good anyway.
No.
He was all flash and dash.
They're not going to
Anyway,
make the bowl though.
And we'll find out Saturday. I'll give you when we come back. We're going to do our podcast hopefully on Wednesday when I get back. I'll be able to give you an update on UCLA. UCLA has a really, really, really solid defense. Who are they? Even like
Chip Kelly has a good defense.
great
He's
defense.
still coaching.
Yeah,
That's
is.
unheard
He's
of.
coaching, and they destroyed Sanders' kid. Now Sanders is bitching about his offensive line that they got to get better. That's where they got to get better because his kid got hurt. So
Sanders' other kid got ejected for
Yeah, I
targeting.
saw that.
It was a bad call, but
right, he hit him the right way. Right.
Yeah.
So Colorado, Washington, UCLA, Stanford is pretty bad.
and then I got more Kevin. He's got to get us going
more
for next
Kevin?
week.
All
Oh
right,
yeah, we gotta. We
But
he's
back
gonna-
real quick before we do Kevin. Kevin and Chris had the lock off, right?
yes.
And Kevin won.
So I'm locking this week. It's 3 points from now. Alabama by 3 at home against LSU. He's not going to engage in the walk-off.
I think I'm going to lock it. I'm going to go against this Kansas State versus Texas pick.
And so whatever that is,
Whatever that is, I'll
All
take
right.
Texas.
All right,
just
I
to
like
bust
that.
his
I like
balls.
that. All right, so you have Texas, I have Alabama, and he's going to let us know on this call.
Here
in a
we
bit.
go.
On to next week. I already mentioned Kansas State, Texas, Missouri, Georgia, Washington, USC. But Jack will want to talk about Bama, LSU. He says that Bama's his lock. I don't know about that one. I can't give it as a lock, even though he wants me to. I'm probably going to go with LSU just to go against Jack. But I don't know. It'll be a tough one, a really interesting game. But
I love Kevin.
Unfortunately, I have some heartbreaking news to share. I might not be able to watch the games past the 3:30 slate. So I can only watch the noon games this next Saturday, I think, unless I get in front of a TV, probably right around the time Bama LSU kicks off. So really upset about this
Why?
one.
I don't know.
Because it's going to be a great weekend. But yeah. So when it comes for my lock, I'm looking at a noon kickoff. I have to go a noon kickoff because I have to be able to watch the game. And there's 4 easy picks in my mind. There's 4 easy ones. There's Rutgers plus 18 at home versus Ohio State.
Ohio State sucks. I like that
State's
pick.
QB stinks, and Rutgers is a good football team. I think they cover the 18 points at home. Kansas State plus 5 against Texas. I think Kansas State.
So you have
probably
minus
wins
5.
that
Texas
game.
minus 5 is you.
My boys at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart, minus 3.5 at home against A&M. I really want to pick that, but I don't want to reuse my teams.
Didn't
So,
you pick Tennessee back-to-back?
It
weeks?
leaves me to this last
Yeah,
game.
he loves.
And I'll
Texas.
just give you a quick hint right now.
Is this the pick of the week?
I got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish -3.5 away to Clemson. They stink. Clemson stinks. They're so bad. Dabo's dead in the water, and Notre Dame is in no pressure mode, which means that they are going to roll this team. They're away, which would worry me, but I don't even know if Clemson fans will even show up, and it's an early kickoff. And Jack has been rooting against me in all my picks so far, which isn't surprising because it's Jack. But he hates Dabo, so I kind of want to put him in a pickle a little bit. So let's go Irish.
All right, Kevin's luck. Unbelievable. Isn't he killing me?
I don't know who to, like, I can't root for Notre Dame, but I can't root for Clemson.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Then just don't pick the game.
No, I know, but
As I would do. I would
look.
pick
Kevin's 2-0. He needs to lose at some point. We can't get him to 3-0.
It's 2-0.
Maybe he actually could be 3-0.
Oh, well, you know what? Hey, again, let's thanks Kevin O'Donnell. Shout out Kevin, our college football expert, friend of the podcast or friend of the pod, however you want to call it. We'll get him back. We got to get everybody back on live on the air, but. You know, he's been lucky. I mean, it's early. He's played 3 weeks. We'll
he knows
see what
his
happens.
stuff. He really, I mean, if he gets into it, like, if you asked him about college football 3 years ago, you wouldn't be able to talk. He knows everything. He's talking about Jackson Dart and all these.
I think he just looks that up online.
Kevin,
you just looked that up online. Go on. Fess up, buddy.
No, he watches the games.
That's true. And
he has multiple screens up.
And he's also a very intelligent kid with the math, so he must be running some analytics.
Well, he's got a good memory. So
yeah, that's very true. All right, so you've got, just real quick, Jack, you're going to take Alabama, LSU. You're taking Bama?
-3, Alabama. Let's go.
And I got Texas -5, K-State, and he'll have Notre Dame -3.5. So we all road teams, right? Bama's on home?
Bama's at home. Bama's at home.
And then we'll wait for Chris. Chris Greco he'll filter in our pick to us as well. Well, like I said, hopefully next week Chris is done coaching.
It would be
soccer.
hilarious if Chris just comes in. I'm going to text Chris right now. If he comes in with Clemson, I would laugh.
So so that's what we have so far this week on our picks to click with Kevin O'Donnell. We're gonna have to get a sponsor for Kevin's show. Maybe it's that Skyline Chili in Cincinnati. Go out and enjoy your Skyline Chili in Cincinnati. That's all the TV baseball broadcasters ever talk about is Skyline Chili. So good for Kevin. Kevin brings that Cincinnati vibe here. We'll see how he does this week. And thanks, Kevin, for calling in and getting that piece done. So that's anything else college football wise. I just check. I'm going down my list. I had 9 teams that could make the tournament.
Okay, go.
So I had Georgia, OSU, Michigan, Florida State. Then I have Washington, Texas.
No.
Bama.
Washington can't make it, no.
Why they can't make it?
Because they're not going to.
Well,
but
that's
whatever.
none of your goddamn business whether they can make it or not.
They can't. No, that's what we're doing.
Washington, Texas, Alabama, Penn State, and Oregon.
Penn State, yeah, okay. You keep talking about this scenario where Penn State beats Georgia. What are you talking about? They're going to get killed.
Penn State they're not playing Georgia.
Not Georgia, Michigan.
They're going to beat Michigan at home at night.
Okay, take Penn State, Washington off.
Okay, did you add anybody?
Who was the last couple you said there?
Washington, Texas, Bama, Oregon, Penn State.
You said Oregon? No. Yeah,
okay.
I like that, yeah. Because
Oklahoma
just had a tough loss.
Yeah, they're done. That's all I have. And Utah's done. And USC's done. And
well, LSU has 2 losses, but if they went out, they would have. But the problem with LSU is they lost to FSU. But the thing is, it's the first weekend of the year. You can't judge a team based off that. I think if LSU played FSU now, they might beat them. But if LSU wins out, they beat Alabama on the road and Georgia, who is the 2-time defending national champions.
Right, then that completely wreaks havoc on everything.
Because they have 2 losses.
So, again, this is the last year we go to 4 teams, right? I think we're going to 12 next year, right? Yep. So this will eliminate all that.
Still gonna no, but there is because you're going to do. They're still going to. I guarantee you, 12, 13, 14. There's going to be controversy.
Right. Well, there's always controversy.
Yeah, there's always. It's like you go to 64, then they go to 68, and Temple gets screwed one year.
Then they go to 72.
Then the next year they get put in the play-in game.
104. Okay, so that's college football again. We'll recap that next week. See how everybody does, or we'll be a little bit late, but we'll check that out. I'll have an update for everybody on college football.
Kevin will
live.
like that. He'll be able to. He always complains about having to pick his lock. He picks his lock on Sunday night for the Saturday games, so he'll get till Wednesday to next week.
Oh God, poor Kevin. I feel bad. Okay, Jack, is JTrevs. Is he next?
Yeah. Well, let's go over the games first.
Oh, yeah, go. Okay, I'm sorry. Go.
What do I got? You always do that. Thursday night. The Bills got back on track, beating the Buccaneers. I didn't watch this game. You know what? The thing with Thursday night is it's not on TV. It's on the streaming thing, so you can't flip through. You can't I'd watch the news, watch the baseball game, watch a TV show, and then put on the football game. I don't want to sit there and watch a football game for 3 straight hours. And now Michael's quit and sucks. So, but the Bills won. not much football.
Bills
take from
again,
me.
the Dow Jones team of the podcast.
They needed to win that game.
Yeah, and they were better than the Bucks.
Here we go. The Panthers got their first win of the season. While Matt Rule's riding high in Nebraska, at least they finally won a game 15-13. Bryce Young, I think, actually looked pretty good.
That was an exciting game.
Yeah, no, that's good, though, for the tanking teams. I won't get to the Patriots yet because we'll talk about them last, but it's good for the Patriots with their loss. The Colts lost to the Saints 38-27. Two teams I really don't care about. JTrevs could probably tell you more about them. Just Derek Carr at 310 passing yards. That's a pretty good game.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
You don't have any takes?
No.
Yeah, that's a terrible game.
I got
the Colts and the Saints.
I got to take from J-Trev. I got to read.
Oh
so,
yeah, it's a
remember
Colts
that,
take.
so
Yeah, well, because there
I'll let
is
that slide.
so he does have a take about that. There's a receiver in New Orleans, Shaheed, who had 153 yards. So
Yeah, there was a receiver for Hopkins who had a ton of yards for with a rookie quarterback. Okay, go.
everyone knows who that is though. The Rams got murdered by the Cowboys, 43-20. The Rams just suck.
Put a fork in the Rams.
Prescott looked good again. It's
right.
happened. The Cowboys. He's not even Dow Jones though. He kind of is low and then up, even though that's Dow Jones. But it's long.
That's what Dow Jones.
But it's
is.
not as quick as
you
like
would-
Josh Allen is.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott got us to like rock bottom of his whole career after that 49ers game.
Yep.
And he's slowly coming back up. And guess what? It's going to happen again. I'm going to be like,
And then,
I think Dallas can win. And what did JTrevs say? Top five roster in football.
and the Rams are done.
Oh, they're
That's it.
horrible,
Done.
yeah.
Okay, next.
The Vikings beat the Packers 24-10. The Packers are horrible. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, and the Vikings were actually looking good.
But they're done without
Yeah.
a quarterback. Finished.
And the Jefferson's still hurt and all
And
that.
Jordan Love has been a
Who's
disaster.
that other kid they had to receive that Addison? He's
Yeah.
really been playing good.
And
so-
Love's been a disaster. You're right. Okay, next.
Yeah, no, the Packers actually stink for the first
Yeah.
time in a while. They do stink. Next, I have the Dolphins 31, Patriots 17. Patriots back to what they've been this season, and they just didn't look good. Mac didn't look good. The receivers didn't look good. Tyreek Hill and Waddle destroyed them, and you don't see that often against the Belichick coach team. In the first game, they actually handled them well in Foxborough, but if you remember, they had the Gonzalez kid playing that game. He picked off a pass. He was maybe the best cornerback in the NFL, so they don't have that anymore, and they just got annihilated by Hill and Waddle.
I think back to Patriots. First of all, the talent level and the Dolphins Patriot talent level,
it's
especially
insane.
Especially like you said with the injuries and the speed factor that they've done. I just don't like that coach for Miami. That's all.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Tua
though.
didn't look. Tua was okay. He didn't look great.
Yeah, I don't think he's that good either, but
So-
he's not. It's not that he's not that good. He's
So
not.
the question is, do the Patriots trade here this week in the trading deadline, or do they try to salvage a 4 or 5 game?
I don't know because I saw their next 5 games are actually pretty easy. So
Right.
we'll know if we look. We want Maserati Marv here. Let's go 1-4 in the next 5 games.
Okay.
We're done now. I wanted to. If they won that Dolphins game, I'd be all in on them winning. But that they had to win that game. and they didn't.
Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr.
What else? The Pats. Yeah, no, Mac looked bad again. Ramsey was playing. Jalen Ramsey, pretty good cornerback for them. His first game of the year, he picked them off, but that was a terrible read and throw by Jones. Kevin said it's like his feet never are set when he's throwing the ball. Turn the ball over all the time, doing stupid things. He's getting hit a lot. He's getting rid of the ball quick because I think he's afraid of getting hit. And, they just played terrible.
So if Tom
And they
Brady,
also got screwed by the refs.
got hit, if Tom Brady had those receivers and got hit like that, would he be successful? Although the
He'd be
difference
more
is
than
Tom
Mac.
would be able to read the. He wouldn't make the.
He wouldn't
Mac
turn the ball over like Mac does.
makes the big mistakes. You're right.
Yeah, Brady would never make those mistakes.
Right, you're right,
Let's not
you're
compare
right.
Brady to Mac Jones, please.
I
don't like Brady at all.
I love firing up the podcast.
No. And then they got screwed by the refs. There was a pass interference called on them
In the end zone.
In the end zone that wasn't even close. And then there was a helmet-to-helmet hit that I think it was Parker got taken out of the game. The dude's
Yes.
going to get probably a $50,000
Yeah.
fine for that. No flag.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And then there's
The ref should get fined for that.
the
honestly,
inconsistency of the refereeing in the NFL has always been
because
like that.
he
That's
really
true.
hurt him. The ref
He
should
did.
take
did.
a fine. They should take
Right.
a fine.
All right, what's next game? I'm sick of the
All
past.
right. Tennessee Titans, Atlanta Falcons, 28-23. Will Levis coming out party.
And he's the Kentucky quarterback.
He was great, man.
Yeah,
He was-
great, and he is because he's Anthony. He's got Hopkins with him, right?
Yeah, no, Hopkins should be on the Pats. The Pats
And
could use a guy like
and
Hopkins.
he's got the running back with him, so it's easzy to be good.
Both went over 100 yards. Then we got-
Tannehill is going to be in the rearview mirror for them. Let him go. Okay. Again, a team that could sneak into the playoffs and cause teams problems.
I guess. I don't know what their record is, but here's the team that's really hot right now.
Let me guess.
No, you're gonna guess wrong because I know who you're gonna guess.
Okay, I'm not going to guess.
Yeah,
that.
you were gonna guess the Bengals, but
Yes.
it's not. The Jaguars 20,
The
Steelers 10. Steelers were 4-2, really good defense. Steelers at home. Jaguars go in there and 20-10. Really, I mean, their offense isn't great. The Steelers, so it's not like they did shut
The
them down.
Jaguars, they've won like
What are
2
they,
or
6
3
and 2?
games, 6-2. They haven't looked. I don't think they've looked as good as they can.
No, I know
So
they're
maybe
a good
peak.
team.
Maybe they'll peak later. They're definitely a playoff contender. They could make the Super Bowl because the league sucks right now. Every team in the league sucks.
Eagles, Commanders. Eagles 38, Commanders 31. Eagles looked like they were going to go down. The Commanders always give them trouble.
Yes, they do.
They came back. Ron Rivera's an idiot. He's just kind of milking it in. He's going to get fired at the end of the year. They'll get a new coach with that new ownership.
Would that be mailing it in or milking it?
What did I say?
You said milking it in.
I don't even know if that.
That's
you're
mailing it
probably
in.
right. Is milking it in even a thing?
No, but if you milk something, you're taking your time,
Well,
making your money.
he's just not even
milking
paying
like that.
attention. It doesn't even seem
Right.
so. I don't know. The Eagles, the tush push, they fumbled on it.
And then
I think they
ran
did
it-
that on purpose so they could be like, oh, it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
totally
They
unsolved.
did that on purpose. Then they ran the tush push fake around the outside.
I
So-
hate you talk about coaches. You
But
hate
the irony of the thing is serious. Is in reality, if I look overall, and I got my rankings here, the Eagles are the number 1 team in the league right now, though. Go.
Yeah, because
Who else?
we're gonna get to this.
Yeah, that's next. Finish the.
I'll go here. The Chiefs against the Broncos, 24-9. Now, I want to see the Chiefs. I don't know if they're going to buy. I want to see the Chiefs next week if they play. They're
go
playing in
Frankfurt.
Germany.
They go to Frankfurt against
In Miami,
yeah.
yeah. So that's a tough trip to make with Mahomes being sick and all. It was tough. Mahomes having not to make excuses for him because he hasn't been that good lately. He's turned the ball over more.
And his receivers are
Horrible. He had the flu. He had the flu,
Yep.
and he had to go play in a snow game in October when it's 80 degrees in New England. But yeah, no, they turned the ball over like 5 times. They muffed kicks. They fumbled. He threw 2 interceptions. Not a good game. And then here's the controversy that I saw Shannon Sharp was actually quite upset about this. Travis Kelce, this isn't in no way related to Taylor Swift. He went to the World Series game on Friday night, and they had a game in Denver on Sunday. Like, I don't know if you should be going to, like, if the World Series game's at Kansas City, for sure. To Texas, to get on a plane, I know he has a private jet. To get on a plane, go to Texas, I just don't think that's a good idea.
If he didn't miss any meeting time or practice time, why does it matter?
Because
Why does it matter?
No, because it does. I just think it's a bad look.
If they had won the game,
It wouldn't have mattered, but it's a bad look. His quarterback's struggling. He is the only guy that his quarterback can trust right now. He
So
needs to
can
be
I ask
100%.
this question?
He didn't play that good.
So instead of going to the game in Dallas, he goes home in Kansas City and gets absolutely shit-faced. And is then what's the difference?
Yeah, that's better.
No, it's not better.
Because it's the
It's not
optics.
better.
It's the optics. It's all about optics.
Schmoctics. You're right. I agree with
There might be someone in that locker room who's like, "What the F
better.
is this guy doing?"
Well, that
at
guy
the-
can
at
do
the-"
anything he wants.
I know, but at some point, it's like,
And they're
we're not-
6-2. Their team they've not played well all year, right? You agree with me?
Their offense has it. Their defense
Yeah,
has.
okay.
This Trent McDuffie guy, they got cornerback. He's
Yeah.
like the best pass rusher in the game. He's phenomenal.
all right,
He's
so-
flying all over the place.
So Chiefs, I have 2 ranked number 2.
I like their defense. Cleveland
default.
Browns lost to the Seahawks. That was JTrevs. JTrev picked against our boy PJ Walker. He had Seattle by 4 points. They won by 4 points. That's a push, but it's a loss because he bet against TJ.
PJ threw a pass right late in that game. The defender jumped up and smashed off his helmet, went straight up in the air. They intercepted it and went in and scored on a hold by Metcalf, by the way. But again, the officiating don't matter. Cleveland sucks. Their offense sucks until Watson. I love PJ. God bless him. He had won 2 in a row, almost won 3 in a row. And their defense had a chance to win the game. They couldn't make a stop. So
PJ's no good, but he's made himself out to be actually a decent like backup quarterback in the NFL because he actually can come in and like your team's not going to totally be out of games with him.
the Brian Hoyer of today's generation of quarterbacks.
Brian Hoyer stinks.
Who's next?
Ravens beat the Cardinals 31-24. That's actually close. And again, 7 points to law in the NFL. So no, the Ravens are really playing good.
Right.
The Cardinals suck. That's a tank team we got to watch out for.
Yep.
The Bengals really beat down on the Niners. The Niners stink, I think. Like they've lost 3 in a row.
I tell you, Brock Purdy is not as good.
You know, he threw for 365 yards.
Yeah, because he had like 60 yards in the last 2 seconds of the game. They were down 14, and all I hear is, and I love Tony Romo. I'm not going to bust Tony. All I hear is Tony Romo. What's the word? He was glazing him. They use that word glazing. Purdy. If my guys are listening at school, glazing him all game. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I don't need
Oh,
to.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
You don't want to know.
No,
But again, I'm sick of, he's this great reader. How did he last until the 100 and last pick in the draft? There's a reason why he lasted the last pick in the draft, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, the Bengals, good team.
Very good team.
Burrow looks good. They look.
team.
They look like they're going to be in it at the end.
I think they're up in the top half of the league right now. Top half of the
that.
playoff. So it's going to make the Super Bowl.
Oh, they
Win
could
Super
be
Bowl.
top 5. They could
Right.
be in your top 5. Honestly,
They are in
If-
my top
Yeah,
5.
they probably should be. Are they ahead of the? You have them ahead of the Jaguars or no?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Am I missing a game? Yeah. Bears got killed by the
Who
Chargers.
cares?
The Bears suck.
Who cares?
I think
don't care.
Bagent played again.
And he
I don't
did
know.
it.
The Bears.
Another quarterback where they kiss his ass and he sucks next week because nobody's
Herbert
ready.
also isn't very good, but I
Herbert
guess he had
played
a good
really
game.
well.
I know he did. He's on my fantasy team.
So as we look at this one, before we get to JTrev, I have the Eagles and the Chiefs, and the Bengals and the Niners and the Cowboys, and then the Jags and Ravens.
What was your top 5? What was your top 5?
Eagles, Chiefs, Niners.
No.
Yes.
I hate the Niners.
I
They
know,
lost
but they're
3 in a row.
Yeah, but
You think they're better than?
But they're going to be the top team. You can't the top team in the NFC.
Who do you think has a better chance at winning the Super Bowl? Who, if you were to take a team, I need them to win the Super Bowl, or I get shot in the face.
I would still
The
take
Bengals?
I would still take
The Bengals
I
or the
take the
Niners?
Bengals because I take
Yeah.
the
So
the quarterback.
why
But
do you have?
But the Bengals have to go over more hurdles.
I guess, but what do you mean?
In
How
no
many losses
particular-
do
in
they
no
each
par-
have?
in no
They
par-
might both have 3 losses.
In no particular order. Eagles,
It's actually harder. You're right.
Eagles, Chiefs, 49ers, Bengals, Cowboys, Lions, Bills, Jags, and Ravens. Those are the only teams that can win the Super Bowl.
With the Lions on a bye, probably a good week to go on
No,
a
they
bye.
play tonight. They play the Raiders.
Oh, okay. They got to win that game.
So those, I can't, out of that group of 9 or 10, nobody else is going to win the Super Bowl. One of those teams is going to win the Super Bowl.
yeah, I
Great
there's
or
the
not?
teams- Yeah, but there's no this year. There's really not one team where you can be like,
Oh,
oh,
and
that
it's
team.
not at all. I agree with you. And that team might end up being the Bengals if he's healthy and they play like they did yesterday. They're going to be. They're tough. They're tough.
Still think Mahomes and the Chiefs figure something out,
Mahomes, they
have
have to get a receiver or punt return or whatever the hell they
or
need.
just someone really catches on, gets hot. I don't know.
So how are we doing next? So as we get
We're
ready
gonna split this up.
I know. So JTrev, everybody knows Justin Trevisani, our NFL expert, son of Tommy Trevisani, of course. He always gives us the best team, worst best player, worst player. And over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks, Jack has read those. We're now splitting the duty, so I get an opportunity to read some of JTrev's diatribes, and then we'll comment on those as well as we go forward. So is it me first with
Yep.
the Bengals? Okay.
You have the team of the week.
Team of the week. Okay. See how I screw this up, JTrev? I'm sorry. After a 27-3 loss to the Titans in Week 4, the Bengals were my bad team of the week with a 1-3 record and limited signs of promise on either side of the ball. Now, after Week 8's slate of games, they are my team of the week after their 31-17 win over San Francisco. Simply put, Joe Burrow is back. And with him playing like he did on Sunday, these Bengals, as he says, will be right back up there in the NFL contender division. The Week 7 bye couldn't have come at a better time for this team, allowing both sides of the ball to reassess where they were underachieving the first 6 weeks and letting Burrow get close to a full 2 weeks of recovery from his injury. The 49ers, while on a 3-game losing streak, still have one of the better defenses in the league, and yet the Bengals were able to move the ball effectively all day long. There weren't a ton of explosive plays for the Bengals, but the way they were able to move the chains and sustain drives was really encouraging. En route to completing 28 of his 32 passes, Burrow was able to find 7 different receivers on the day. I was most impressed by the way they ran the ball against the tough San Francisco front, averaging 5 yards a carry on designated runs, while Burrow was able to manage 40 yards on scrambles as well. The defense, for the first time all season, played opportunistic and aggressive, forcing 3 turnovers and limiting the 49ers on the ground. It was a truly complete performance and a relief for many fans who enjoy watching the Bengals and this team contend. All right, so that's the Bengals, their team of the week. Real quickly, I'll
I
let
agree
you
with
go
everything.
first.
Everything he says, I agree with, and neither of us are Tom Brokaw when it comes to reading reports. You know, we're struggling reading these JTrev things, but Bengals definitely. We just talked about them. Yeah, hottest team in the NFL, maybe.
Yes, they probably are. And you know what's funny is we were watching that game. Mixon got the ball like 5 or 6 times running. He was hitting the hole really hard, and again that just adds another mix. Adds to their mix. Their offense. Their offense is deep. If they can stop players, I still worry about that kicker. Even though he makes a lot of 50-yard McFarland, that kicker is he had that hot rookie year to get them the Super Bowl. But this team right now is on fire, and I agree with JTrev. They probably were the team of the week. Other than my New England Patriots. I'm kidding. All right, so that was our team of the week. And you're going to, Tom Burrow, call the losing team of the week?
Yeah, so I actually recorded it. So
You recorded it. Okay, that's
it
good.
still stinks, and I recorded
Hey,
it.
don't
All right,
worry.
here's the worst team of the week. For all of the good discourse around the Rams so far this season, after 8 weeks, they sit at 3-5 with a banged-up Matt Stafford and cracks starting to show in the foundation that we thought would be there in the preseason. With Sean McVay heading up the offense and Stafford behind center, the Rams will oftentimes be in games and look fun doing so, but when you look elsewhere, it's simply not a good roster. The offensive line is subpar and has been getting progressively worse the last few years with the lack of resources and attention the front office has poured into it. Because of the horrible salary cap situation they've been in after going all in on their Super Bowl runs, they were forced to let go of a lot of defensive pieces and now have a bunch of low-round draft picks and cheap free agent signings surrounding Aaron Donald. We knew these things going into the season, but this week especially brought these things into the forefront. The Cowboys completely blitzed the Rams from the jump of this one in an impressive showing from them. With 12 minutes left in the second quarter, the score stood at 26-3 and 33-9 at halftime. Never even a contest. Stafford not only looked injured, but flat out bad. It was a dominating physical performance from Dallas, and the Rams had no answers in any phase of the game. Yeah, total ass kicking. What are your thoughts on the Rams?
Well, I think the Rams' injuries, lack of cap space, Stafford getting a little bit older, not having the weapons he once had. I don't know if it's so much the Rams that game. I think the Cowboys deserve a lot of credit in kicking their ass. I mean, we talk a lot about the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys are one of the top 5 teams in the league as well. They might be 5th.
You laughed at JTrevs when he said that.
I
I mean, you
know.
did. We pulled up the clip.
But, it's life. I mean,
It's true, yeah.
No, but they don't. They just don't win. It's just, why can't you win? Why can't he win? Why can't Dak Prescott win consistently? But they complete it.
He turns the ball over stupidly.
The good old the Rams are done. Shame out there, but he's done. They won their Super Bowl though. If you're a Ram fan, why do you care? You won your Super Bowl.
This is kind of like, well, if you're Ram, they won 1 Super Bowl. The Patriots won 6, and their fans are going bananas about everything that goes bad. Like Belichick's the worst coach that ever existed. He won 6 Super Bowls. Rams fans are probably happy with there are no Rams fans, but they're happy with their 1 Super Bowl. Yeah, they knew this was going to happen at some point, right? They're going to have bad salary cap problems. They traded all their high draft picks, so they don't have a ton of talent on their team, cheap talent. So obviously it was going to happen.
I have a question. Do the Rams have anything in common with our good friend Kevin O'Donnell?
What do you mean?
Do the Rams have anything in common?
I don't know.
with
What does that mean? Arsenal?
Who's their owner?
Yeah, the same owner, yeah.
Okay.
What about it? Yeah.
I just want to shout out Kevin.
Yeah, no, Arsenal.
Arsenal
Soccer's been
Gronke.
going real bad this year for my teams, and
Oh, we're not talking soccer anymore then?
no,
Okay, good.
but yeah, no, the arts. He likes the Cronkies now, and that is
Okay.
Stan's running that, and his son Josh really runs the business of Arsenal. And Josh is like a hippie dude. He looks like Jack Dorsey from Twitter.
All right, that's our
Probably
team.
living a nice life right now.
So
Jack Dorsey.
J-Trev had the Bengals as his team of the week and the Rams as his team of not the week, or actually poor team of the week. So that's
Player of the week brought to you by. Oh, we've used all the good restaurants. What's like a place they go? Let's go.
No, you know where they go? Don't they go to the?
No, the Mandarin, the Chinese food place. J-Trev loves the Mandarin.
The Mandarin.
Kevin loves
That's
it too.
in
Is
Wakefield, right?
Wakefield or Reading? It might be in
Wakefield.
Reading.
Yeah.
Is it
I
Reading?
went to because I went there for a birthday party. You're right.
Yeah. So the player of the week brought to you by the Mandarin. I am not a reactionary football observer by any stretch, and I will continue to reserve my judgment until I see a sufficient sample size. But I have to acknowledge the performance rookie quarterback Will Levis had on Sunday. He was able to completely revitalize a dormant Titans offense that was functioning as one of the worst units in the league through their first 6 weeks of the season. Levis threw for 238 yards on 19 for 29 passing with 4 touchdowns. More impressively, he had 0 turnovers and was operating the offense like a veteran would. Compared to Tannehill's 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions through the first 6 weeks, this was a night and day development for the Titans. They are another team who greatly benefited from their bye week coming at a great time, and being able to commit to a game plan built around Levis for 2 full weeks surely helped the rookie settle in. He showed a great rapport with DeAndre Hopkins, who looked like prime D-Hop for the first time in quite some time. If you haven't already, please watch the replay of Levis's 4th and final touchdown pass of the day, a 33-yard moonshot to Nick Westbrook, one of the most impressive throws I've seen this season. And just a little side note, Mike Rabel is now 6-0 coming off bye weeks in his head coaching career. Next level stuff. So I got the call from the touchdown right here.
Levis towards the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown. Wow. Westbrook
Great pass. And who's that announcer, by the way? She called the Celtics game the other night on ESPN.
I don't know. I forget.
Really good voice.
Is that Beth Mogan?
I don't know. I'll have to figure out her name because really good voice.
She did a good job on that. She did a good job on that.
Yeah. No,
so I can't complain. So that's
that the Rabel thing. Rabel was sitting with Kraft last week.
Yeah.
It's 6-0 off the bye.
He's learned a lot from Belichick. Vrabel has. Vrabel might be your next coach here. You never know. You never know.
Nah.
Oh, it's definitely not going to be the guy from Vegas, by the way.
I don't think that's the type.
Josh
like it could.
McDaniels.
If you bring in Rabel, is Rabel kind of too similar to Belichick almost? Like if you're going to get rid of Belichick, bring in like Mike McDaniel type. You know what I mean? Bring in an offensive guru.
Yeah.
No, Levis, really good week. Let's see what he does the rest. Like JTrevs, small sample size, so he's not a reactionary football viewer.
Like our good friend Kevin O'Donnell.
Yeah.
So Kevin, shout out to Kevin. He probably likes. Now he's going to pick against Kentucky because Levis is from Kentucky. I'll give the kid credit. He was happy. He won, played well. That's what you want to see. Why can't we get quarterbacks like that here in New England?
Is he the kid who slipped in the draft? I think he was the kid who went and he didn't. He might not have got picked in the first round. They had the camera on the whole night, so that was tough.
We'll have to double.
I also would like to shout out. I think it's Thomas Morstead of the Jets, the punter of the Jets. You got to watch the highlights.
11 punts.
People were he had a couple punts that. These are some of the best punts I've ever seen. I think he had 3 that went inside the 5, first off. He was kicking them out of bounds inside the 5. He had one that bounced and landed on like the 3-yard line and just stuck. It was an incredible performance. And JTrev said he almost picked him, but he had already picked a kicker this year.
Yeah, you can't pick 2 kickers. Right? I'll tell you one thing that we've talked about a lot is special teams, especially college and pro at the high levels, is so important that you're winning and losing games because
he won them
of
that game.
Right.
He won them
That's
that
what
game.
Everybody said. No. Diebold won them the game because he didn't go for it on 4th and 1.
Okay, but
he would have won
the
the football game. Just shoved the ball up the middle, just push it. So yeah, good call at not picking him because we already had the kicker who kicked like 19 field goals over 50 yards. All right, so his worst player of the week, which probably was hard for him to write this because, as we all know, JTrev spent 2 years out with the Indianapolis Colts. So, excuse me for that. Quarterback Tony Brown of the Colts is my guy and one of the best and funniest locker room guys you will find. But man, did he have a rough day on Sunday. He is not a boundary cornerback by any stretch, and the Colts' lack of depth at defensive back can easily be blamed for putting Brown in an unfavorable position. But as an NFL vet who is very comfortable with his defensive coordinator, Gus Bradley, he needs to bear some of the blame. Per Seth Wadler of ESPN, Brown allowed 7 receptions for 187 yards and a touchdown on 7 targets he faced as the nearest defender.
That's awful.
I know. The Saints were picking on him all day, and he was largely responsible for the numerous explosive plays that they were able to hit. To appeal to the larger masses, I'm going to shout out Brock Purdy as well. Purdy and the 49ers were able to move the ball through the air effectively all game, but Purdy's 3 turnovers kept a lot of potential points off the board and swung the momentum of the game multiple times. Purdy can play, and he made some big boy throws yesterday, but if he doesn't start taking care of the ball, the 49ers are going to be in a pickle. Even a team as loaded as theirs can't overcome turnovers like that. On this 3-game losing streak, Purdy has turned the ball over 7 times. The 49ers need to get back to playing the complementary football that helped Purdy go 10-0 in the regular season, 10-0 to a 10-0 regular season record to open his career. And that starts with the young man taking care of the football. I totally don't disagree with. I have no idea Tony Brown is. I never heard of him. So JTrev, you pick these guys out for. Let's pick Tony Brown out, who's a great locker room presence and a great dude. I don't know who he is. Purdy sucked. He absolutely sucked. He's overrated, and they play the Cowboys next week, and he could lose 4 straight. But back to. God bless JTrev for picking his boy.
Wait, what? Who do they play next? Is it the Cowboys?
Cowboys, don't they play the Cowboys?
They're in the same division. They already played the Cowboys.
Oh, the Eagles play the Cowboys. I'm sorry. Purdy plays some shit team, probably.
They better gonna win. You can't lose 4 in a row and be like the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, well, I'm not having. So, any thoughts on Seth Brown? Or Tony Brown, rather?
What was the numbers? 12 for 187?
Yeah. That's 7 receptions for 187 yards and a touchdown on 7 targets.
And wait, that was like CeeDee Lamb. No, who'd they play? Who'd they play?
New Orleans.
Actually, those receivers aren't terrible. Like, who had the yards here?
Isn't that Baker Mayfield, though?
New Orleans? No, that's Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, right?
Tampa,
right?
Yeah.
My brain is not working.
Chris Olave. Did he play the Olave guy, the guy who got arrested?
I don't know who played that.
It wasn't that bad. He was going like 70 to 35. You shouldn't be doing it, but it's better than like going 150 in a 70.
Okay, so back to that question. Travis
Shaheed,
Kelce.
it was the Shaheed guy. Remember I mentioned him?
Travis Kelce goes 70 in a 40. Is that better or worse than going to the World Series?
I will say getting arrested is worse than going to the World Series.
Okay, good.
So
Good. I'm glad that we agree on that.
you're welcome, Trav.
So, Seth Brown. Who is Seth? Oh, Seth Wadler of ESPN. That's why I'm hearing Seth. I'm all confused.
Is it
by
Tony
that.
Brown?
Tony Brown.
Troy Brown?
Tony Brown and Brock Purdy, players of the non-players of the week. Let's see, who can they be sponsored by? We'll sponsor by Mobile on the Run here in Wilmington, where you can get Dunkin' Donuts and Subway and gas coming off the highway.
Gas for what, like $70?
$70, about $5 a gallon, correct. But again, JTrev with really good insights. I give him credit. Eventually, we got to get our blog going, Jack. We talked about that as well. What do you got for your teams for the NFL right now? How would you rank them? Off the top of your head,
I think the Chiefs will figure it out. I like the Bengals. I guess I like the Eagles, but I really don't. I like the Jaguars. I like the Ravens, and I like the Cowboys.
Okay, so I'm going to go with. I agree on those. I have, like I said, we've read mine already: Eagles, Chiefs, Niners, Bengals, Cowboys, Lions, Dolphins, Bills, Jaguars, and Ravens. And right off the top of my head, just again, whatever week 8, whatever. And I'm going to go with the Bengals Cowboys Super Bowl. Comments?
No, I'm going to pass on that. I'm going to go with the. I think I've said Chiefs. Again, look.
You've been with the Chiefs your whole life.
You can't keep picking every week because, you can't just keep changing your pick and then, I pick them. If you pick, if you end up picking every team, but if you end up picking every team, at some point you'd be like, I picked them in the Super Bowl.
But you forfeit the right.
When JTrevs was here,
you forfeit the right to once if this week is your pick. Last week don't mean shit.
When JTrevs was here, you said the Bills would beat the 49ers, I'm pretty sure. I said the Chiefs would beat the Cowboys. Let's stick with it.
Okay, I'm going with the Cowboys.
There's no way the Cowboys can survive.
You picked the
3
Cowboys.
games.
You picked the Cowboys.
Because the Eagles are going to get the bye, and there's no way.
Win.
They have to beat the Eagles. They have to get the bye because you just have to minimize the amount of games that Dak Prescott can F up in.
Right. Okay, so let's think. We've covered the baseball. We've covered college football. We do open college basketball opens next week. Like I said, I'm going to be in Arizona. We'll start to follow that.
Who's good? It was Kansas. I think Kansas was number 1.
Kansas, Duke.
It's a lot of returning players. Oh, shout
Marquette.
out Duke. So the most obvious thing ever. So the kid, this kid was born. I mean, he was put on this planet to play for Duke, and guess what? He committed to Duke today. It's like one of the best white American basketball high school players we've had in a while. It's like, where's he going to college?
Well, what about Chet Holmgren?
He's not. Is he? I don't think he's American.
Yes, he is. Was he Canadian?
He might be American.
I thought he was like.
He's not as good as this kid. I don't think.
Yeah. Whatever.
This kid's good. I saw Tatum shouted him out.
He is made for Duke, though. You're right.
Well, was it Brian Scalabrine who created the rumor that at Tatum's camp he was cooking Bradley Beal at one-on-ones, and then it just came out that never happened.
Scal.
Good old Scal.
Doesn't shine my soul.
Scal. Another one debut tonight for Drew Manlin, Holden, something. The new guy for the Celtics who's going to take over for Mike Gorman.
Yeah.
He's making his debut. He's called a few preseason games, but he's making his regular season debut with the Celtics tonight with Scal.
Okay.
Scal just talk.
Yeah.
Scal. They used last year, so it's good they finally got someone. That Scal, they had a few broadcasts last year.
He did play-by-play.
Scal did play-by-play with Eddie House as the color guy. And I just remember one time, I think it was in L.A., Eddie House got off the mic, like the mic's like this. He got up and he screamed, and you could hear him yell like that. Screamed at the ref. Scal's like, you can't do that here. It's so funny.
Yeah, we bring some professionals in here, and so that's like I said. You made a great point about today is like a unicorn day in sports, right?
The sports equinox, only day this year where all 4 sports have a game. This will be the only day this year.
The only day?
So the NFL has a game, the NBA has like 9 games, the NHL has games, and what's the other sport? The MLB.
NHL.
I said the NHL. The MLB has
MLB. So, I would be remiss not to finish the podcast and say the Bruins finally took their first loss at home, came back with a win against Detroit. We have, if anybody out there, and I know Brian Kane answered the call for the NBA people who never won a championship, and we're going to bring him in we'll try to get a Yankee take. If there's anybody out there in podcast land who wants to send us an email or text, give us their update on the Bruins, we wouldn't mind having you in because we are definitely not hockey people here in the studio. We'd like to have that. Let's see, anything else going
the Brad Marchand era.
As
right,
begun.
He's the captain, right? They
he's
didn't
the
give
captain.
It to McAvoy.
Yeah, he's the captain. So, they did not give it to McAvoy.
Is he the assistant captain, do you know?
I don't know who's the ace. I think I watched about five 5 minutes total. Because they were out on the West Coast, too, though. So
there was a stat where it was, because it was when they were still undefeated this year. It was in the past, like, 85 regular season games, how many losses do the Bruins have? It's like 9. In the past, in the past year, how many regular season losses do the Bruins have? It's like 7. In the past year, how many playoff losses do the Bruins have? 4.
I know.
What's the record in the playoffs? 3-4. What's the record in the regular season? Like 70-10.
Yeah, I think they're playing well, so we have to give a shout out to them as well. Real quick, we didn't mention it. UMass ended up beating Army in college football.
Big win.
Congrats, Chris Greco. BC ended up squeaking by our good friends from UConn, either 17-14 or 21-14.
I think it's 21-14.
I know one of the kids at school, Noah Spencer, went to the game, and he said it was hot in the stands. It was pretty slow.
Is anyone there?
Yeah, they get a good crowd. They do a good job. So,
you sure?
Shout out to UMass, who probably is now ranked ahead of Temple because we suck. Temple does get Navy this week, but that's our only Temple mention. And hoops will start up. We probably play like Bloomsburg or some crappy team like that. Maybe we'll get a win. So, anything else? Any last comments, Jack, as we get ready to wrap up episode 11?
No, I think I covered everything here. Shouting out everybody. Dabo.
Dabo.
We had the Joe Davis call. We never did, but
not
the Joe Davis, the Kevin Burkhardt, the Cuban one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then shout out. We had Flavor Flav opening up with a rendition of the national anthem, which Jack says gets better and better every time he listens to it.
Yep.
So again, if you want to, if you're listening to this, go back to the beginning and send us your opinions on Flavor Flav and singing the national anthem.
And the thing about the way I hate long national anthems. That was a long national anthem.
Yes.
It was worth it.
So
it was worth the listen. It's worth 3 minutes.
So with Jack's critique on the national anthem, that'll just about do it here. Like I said, for episode 11 of It All Boils Down to This, I'm Jim Boyle for Jack Boyle. We'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.